Our guest tonight hails from Geraldton in WA and was initially overlooked in the 2021 draft, but was subsequently taken by the Demons from East Fremantle with our first pick in the rookie draft. He was an important member of the Casey Demons 2022 Premiership team, and this season was a surprise round one debutant in the senior side and has quickly become a fixture of the D's formidable defence, playing in all 5 games of the current season. Welcome to the Demonland podcast, Judd McVee.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Judd, when I was doing some research for this interview, I read that at age 15 you made your debut for the Rovers Footy Club in the Great Northern Football League, fearlessly going up against men more than twice your age and size, and that would have been a baptism of fire at a young age and a great preparation for playing against the big bodies in the AFL. How was that experience for you at age 15?
Yeah, it was obviously great. I played with a lot of mates that I looked up to at the footy club. And then, to get that debut and then, versus the bigger bodies. And, I feel like it prepared me in the best way for me to move to Perth the year after. So it was pretty good.
You were impressive in your in the under-16s national championships in 2019 and then again representing WA during the under-19 carnival. Yet despite this, you weren't selected in the 2021 draft. What were your expectations going into the draft? Had you spoken to any clubs and were you disappointed when your name wasn't called out?
Yeah, so I had spoken to 5 clubs, but going into the night, my manager kind of just said, hope for the best, but you never know what could happen. So that's what I was going into the draft with, but I just didn't want to get my hopes up too much.
Fortunately, you were selected by the D's in the 2021 rookie draft. How did that play out? Going into the rookie draft, were you aware that the reigning premiers were going to select you with their pick?
No, I didn't. So actually me and Mum wasn't working that day. So me and Mum just went out to just a cafe, just tried to chill a bit for the rookie draft at I think it was 12 o'clock WA time. And then Jason Taylor, the recruiting manager, rang me about 2 times and rang my manager about 3 times. I think he was a bit worried I wasn't going to be there, but I was going to be there because they were the only club that were interested in me. So, very lucky and very happy to be at the D's.
Oh, well, we're happy to have you. You came to the D's in a draft year which saw us take 3 Western Australians, yourself, Jacob van Rooyen, 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁𝗲. You joined Trent Rivers and at the time Luke Jackson, and also 𝗠𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗃𝗃 hails from there. Since then, Jed Adams and 𝗂𝗏 have joined from WA. Must be nice having such a large contingent of boys from your home state. How tight are you all?
Yeah, it's obviously very tight. Me, Jacob and Taj played in the under-19s together. And then a few of my mates from Gero actually are cousins with 𝗠𝗲𝗱𝗃𝗃. So got to know 𝗠𝗲𝗃 pretty quick. And then when I made my East Freo debut in Colts, Trent Rivers was actually the captain. So, got to know him pretty good and also live with 𝗪𝗏 at the moment. So we're obviously very close.
In your first year at the Demons as a rookie playing for Casey, you're very fortunate to play in a very successful team that topped the ladder, eventually took out the 2022 VFL Premiership. How did that year at Casey help in your development?
Yeah, it was obviously very good. Probably a big shout out to Adam Tomlinson. He probably helped me with the positioning, the running patterns and all that type of stuff just to prepare me for AFL footy. Yeah, so it was a great year, and then even better to top it off with the grand final. So, it was awesome.
Your rise from the rookie list to VFL Premiership player to round 1 debutant to what's looking like a permanent position in a star-studded defence in a team that's very hard to crack into. It all came on very suddenly and a surprise to many. What was the feedback that you received from the club at the end of last season, and what steps did you take in the pre-season this year that helped you get into the position that you ended up lining up in the ones and playing on the G in round 1?
It was actually a pretty funny question because in my debut, Goody's speech before the game was if you were to say that I'd be debuting round 1, the odds would be 200 to 1. So, that's kind of, I was speaking to Troy Chaplin, our backline coach, and he kind of said that, I probably wasn't really ready last year. But in my exit meeting, they just kind of said, us running backs, you need to get fit. So that's what I did in the off-season. My pop used to be a running coach, so did a fair bit of training with him in the off-season, and then just came and before Christmas and just put my head down. And, I feel like that's what that's what set me apart.
So what do you think it was about your training in the pre-season that got the attention of the footy department that sort of made them sort of say, hey, let's give this guy a chance in the practice matches, and then eventually you get the gig in round one?
I think it's just my contest that's been really strong over the last 2 months. We did a few intra-club matches and they made me play on Bailey Fritsch, and probably one of the best forwards in the game sometimes.
Yep.
And then, I feel like that's how they gained the trust, because I was playing on him a fair bit. Yeah, and just my contest was pretty good at the time.
I read that Christian Salem has taken you under his wing. How has his influence and direction helped you in your preparation on the training track and on the field?
Yeah, he's been awesome for me. He, when I came back before Christmas, he kind of came up to me and said, "Oh, what do you want to achieve this pre-season?" And I just said, "Oh, I'd like to get fit and get a bit stronger." And he said, pretty much shut me down straight away and was like, "Nah, be your main goal to play round one. You can do it," type thing. And that's what me and him were every training. So he'd mess up a kick and then he'd just go back to that, let's go, come on, round one mentality. So, he's been great for me and still is. He's injured at the moment, but he still watches vision with me and Chappie, our backline coach. So he's a great mentor.
That's really nice to hear. Has there been anyone else that's been a big influence on you from the club, either player or coach, in terms of you being able to take that next step? Yeah,
definitely. I'd say all the backline, especially you look at the people down there. You got Jake Lever, Stephen May, Harrison Petty, and even Angus Brayshaw's back there. So, those guys. And then, obviously very, very close with our backline coach, Troy Chaplin. Yeah, he's been great for me and still is. Watch vision every week. I probably annoy him a bit about that, but he loves it. So,
who's more intimidating, Stephen May or Jake Lever? Both have been known to give a spray, as well as, I imagine, being nurturing and supporting. But having said that, I wouldn't want to make a mistake in front of either of them on the footy field.
Definitely Stephen May, I reckon. Definitely Stephen May. Jake always loves a joke, but he's serious on the field. But definitely Stephen, he's serious all the time.
Yes, he certainly is. You really were thrown into the deep end in just your second practice match, lining up on one of the greatest players in the modern era in Dustin Martin. Is there any special preparation that goes into lining up on a Dusty or a Charlie Cameron or a Tom Papley?
I just watch a fair bit of vision on what they do around D50 stoppages. Yeah, obviously you look at what foot they kick on, and then I pretty much go from there. Just what they do at stoppages, because they're obviously very dangerous in that forward line and they snap from anywhere. So just looking at that.
How special was it for you to return back to WA a few weeks ago, play in front of your family and friends in your home state? I know that a contingent of your nearest and dearest came to round one at the G, but how special was the WA homecoming?
Yeah, it was great. The club let me go back a bit earlier as well. So I flew back on the Thursday night, caught up with, just a close fam. And then I actually didn't know how many people were coming from Gero. And then, I got a few messages after the game and I was like, wow, there's probably 40 people here that I know, 45 people. So, that was awesome. It was a great week back home.
Nice. And congratulations on the contract extension with the Demons. I imagine the lure to go home is strong, but on the flip side, you are playing amongst a very talented defence, probably one of the best defences in the competition, in a team that has the ability and is in the window to go all the way again. And those opportunities can be few and far between. Was it a hard decision to extend that contract?
To be honest, not really. I feel like the Demons, they gave me the chance in a rookie pick. So just kind of respect them by staying around. And also, I love being in Melbourne. Yeah, it's great. Great club to be at and good time to be at the club. Tracking really well on and off field. So, didn't really want to go anywhere.
Great to hear. And I know you're probably grateful just being in the team and you're playing your role in defence really well. You've shown poise and composure that belies your age. You played some junior footy on the ball before transitioning to the half-back. Would you like to see your game evolve to perhaps playing some more midfield minutes in the future like we've seen from Trent Rivers this season?
Yeah, preferably I would like to do that, but wherever I need a player to stay in the team is what I go with. So, I'm happy down back at the moment. And I feel like it's kind of got me drafted from being in the back line. So, I'd be keen to do some little stints in the midfield, but happy to stay back at the moment.
And finally, Judd, both yourself and Rui have made your debuts this season. Who do you see as the next cab off the rank at Casey that might break into the senior side?
I'll go with my housemate, 𝗠𝗲𝗱𝗏𝗀𝗀. He played the scratch match against Richmond,
Yep.
and then sadly broke his finger. But I reckon he's had a great pre-season. He's fit, so I reckon a few more games for Casey and he should be ready to go.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time today, Judd. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the contract extension. We look forward to many years watching you play in the red and blue. Good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully you can go back-to-back with earning another premiership medallion, this time with Melbourne on the MCG. Thank you, Judd.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me.